Hi.
Hello,
Hello, people. Um, uh,
how's it going?
Oh,
uh,
it's going fine. We just came back from the Colorado trip, and mom got that very sweet thank you note from you guys, Julia.
Oh, good. I'm glad that it arrived. It was the
oh,
least I could do after your sweet and thoughtful gifts.
wow. Yeah,
Did you get a haircut, Sarah?
What?
Did you get a
Yeah.
haircut?
Oh, yeah. Just today.
Oh, it looks so nice and neat and tidy. I love it. How's
uh,
it, Jordan?
how am I doing? Something's come up on my end. It appears as though my house sitter got some contract thing on a house or something in Macon, and uh, and now and now
hmm
the guy next door, his
hmm
uh his like son or something like that. He wants to move into the place I currently occupy. So I'm gonna end up moving to Blairsville.
Is that where your parents are?
Yes.
Gotcha. Well, that'll be
Yeah.
nice to be close to family.
Yeah, I could be
Or
missing out on tennis
Eh,
all that.
or how do you feel about it, Jordan?
It would well, it could increase my mental health. It could increase my chances of making a whole lot of new friends and hanging out with a bunch of new friends
True.
and just to a new way of life and have a certain degree of there's a lot of win-wins here that mom tells me there are when it comes to this move thing.
Well, I love that positive outlook. That's awesome. That's a really good way to look at it. I think that is exciting that you might make new friends and hang out with new people. And I bet
Mm.
your parents will like having you around. They'll be
I'm sure they will.
Yeah, there's some compromises. So instead of a
yeah.
Kroger, I'll have to switch grocery stores
Mm.
and I'll have to order a lot of things online and have to be patient for faster internet speeds and I'll have to
Is Blair's further that off the grid?
no, we still get internet. We're not off the grid.
That's good. But I understand. It's hard. Change is hard, but it sounds like you're working through all the changes and processing it. And I think
Yeah,
it'll be good.
I am.
That's awesome. Well, good for you for handling it so maturely. That's awesome.
So you're wearing an Electric Mayhem shirt because I was up in Colorado, but I was but not only checking out the film and topic for the plus, but yeah, Bonnie, of course, my sister wanted to see me like that new Muppet series, Muppets Mayhem.
Oh. I don't know. Do you have a Muppets Mayhem shirt on, Jordan?
That's
Well, it's a general Muppet shirt, but yeah, the Electric Mayhem was on top, so that's why got me thinking about it.
You
okay.
love Muppets.
Well, we are now 50 years into the history of Disney, about half a century. And there was some dark days ahead because
Dark as in brutal, or dark as in
well, it
dark
wasn't
like
like
a
the
progress.
world's most wasn't like the world's most profitable company because I mean Disney World did open, but but by the time 1973 rolls around, it starts to get to a Disney might not be the top dog at the box office or something like that, or they're not or or people might think animation is just just a kids thing. It might be a box office poison thing. I'm not sure, but it was rather bittersweet because it was rather rough because Walt Disney was no longer there, and the people that were had to keep things running were the animation crew who were with Walt ever since the first feature film Snow White. Or
The legendary
maybe-
nine old men.
yeah, and the people who actually did start off later on in the studio's history. They had to keep things going, and the executive producing role for a lot of these feature films that Disney pumped out,
Mhm.
they were laid at the feet of Walt Disney's son-in-law, Ron Miller. He was it was like the feature film production person at the time, one of the people on the board of directors or something like that. So how did Robin Hood suddenly get made in this time? Well, during production on Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs in 1937, Walt Disney became interested in adapting the 12th century legend of Reynard the Fox. However, the project languished due to Disney's concern that Reynard was an unsuitable choice for a hero. In a meeting held on February the 12th, 1938, Disney commented, "I see swell possibilities in Reynard, but is it smart to make it? We have such a terrific kid audience, parents and kids together. That's the trouble, too sophisticated. We'll take a nosedive doing it with animals." For Treasure Island, Disney seriously considered 3 animated sections, each one of the Reynard tales, but to be told by Long John Silver to Jim Hawkins as more fables, and the idea was also scrapped because Treasure Island became the studio's first fully live action film, and then they thought they could make Reynard a villain in the Chanticleer movie, but that project was scrapped as well in favor of Sword in the Stone. So it was just like 2 years after Walt Disney's death. October 1968, during a fishing trip with Ken Anderson, studio executive Card Walker suggested that a classic tale should be the subject for the next animated film after the Aristocats, and Anderson proposed the tale of Robin Hood, to which Walker responded enthusiastically. Back at the studio, Anderson relayed the idea during a story meeting on the Aristocats, which was met with approval. In a follow-up meeting with Wolfgang Reitherman, who continues to do it, he was still right now in charge of directing these films, but not only that, but with Walt absent out of the way, he's producing all of a sudden. So with Wolfgang Reitherman, Bill Anderson, and Larry Clemens, Ken Anderson was assigned the job to begin exploratory animal character drawings. And Anderson blended his ideas of Robin Hood by incorporating that the fox character could be slick, but still use the skills to protect the community. And additionally, Anderson wanted to set the film in the Deep South, desiring to recapture the spirit of Song of the South. Anderson explained, "Basically, I had a wonderful time on Song of the South. I know that all my friends in animation did. They loved the part I played, and I loved the part they played. And so it was an attempt on my part to get the best of that sort of thing and get it going on again, bring it up to date. But now the executives were kind of wary of the reputation of Song of the South, which was followed by Reitherman's decision to set the film in its traditional English location, as inspired by the story of Robin Hood and his merry men, which tells you about how much the times have changed. By 1973, after the Civil Rights era, Song of the South had now become a skeleton in Disney's closet, and they were kind of rather reluctant to suddenly bring it out again. So Clemens came on board the project by writing a script with dialogue that was later storyboarded by other writers. As production went further along, Robin Allen stated in his book Walt Disney and Europe that Ken Anderson wept when he saw how his character concepts have been processed into stereotypes for the animation on Robin Hood, according to Frank Thomas and Ollie Johnston, some of the 9 old men who were left. One such casualty was the concept of making the Sheriff of Nottingham a goat as an artistic experiment to try different animals for a villain, only to be overruled by Reitherman, who wanted to keep the villainous stereotype of a wolf instead. Additionally, Anderson wanted to include the merry men into the film, which was again overridden by Reitherman because he wanted a buddy picture reminiscent of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. So Little John was the only married man who remained in the film, while Friar Tuck was put as a friend of Robin's who lived in Nottingham, and Alan A. Dale was turned into the narrator. So yeah, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid was one of those new Hollywood type movies, which took risks of what they could do with westerns and such, and it wasn't.
I don't think it's. Well, I thought we were talking about like a buddy movie here.
Yeah, it is a buddy movie, but it was one of those new age buddy movies, not the type that the MGM of old would have made, or the Disney of old would have made. So
Well, that sounds like they were still considering the main story for the flick and process. I mean, that's always a foundation for any given film.
yeah, so because of the time spent on developing several settings and auditioning actors to voice the title character, production fell behind schedule, and in order to meet its deadline, and this is pretty much an insane move that they just pulled, the animators had no other choice but to recycle several dance sequences from previous Disney animated films, including Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, The Jungle Book, and the Aristocats that are used in the phony King of England scene. You know, literally, they have the same animation. I mean, it was like it's
Yeah, I'll take an eagle eye expert to notice that.
one of Disney's cheapest and shameless moments in the history of the animation studio.
Pretty crazy.
Cheapest maybe, but definitely shameless.
Oh yeah. So so originally the title role was going to be played by Tommy Steele, and but Steele couldn't make Robin Hood sound heroic. Apparently 2 other guys were considered, Bernard Fox and Brian Bedford, and after seeing Brian Bedford performing on stage in Los Angeles, they brought him in to test for the role, and they ended up casting him. Oh, and Louis Prima, who, as you can recall, was in The Jungle Book as King Louis, he was so angered of not being considered for a role that he personally paid the recording expenses for the subsequent album Let's Hear It for Robin Hood, which he sold to Disneyland Records. Well, not only did the 9 old men have to keep the animation unit going, but they knew they were getting old, and they soon would have to be reaching the retirement age. So they set up a school called in the Cal Arts, and what they did was they brought on a couple of new people to start doing the animation. Well, at least what just being an animation trainee, as what they were called. One of whom was John Pomeroy, who I quite emailed about this and about him wanting to be on this call, and he said no. I was in the Disney animation training program at the time, so yeah, that kind of confirms what went down. And but there is one notable name in the credits. He started off as a
Johnny Mercer.
no, he started off as an animator on Sleeping Beauty, Don Bluth. It seemed like he was getting good to the point where it felt like Disney or some of these other people might have been grooming him to be the next head of Disney Animation or something like that.
Nah, I
But,
think you're jumping a little bit ahead. Can we roll back to Robin Hood?
oh yeah, so the film premiered at the Radio City Music Hall on November the 8th, 1973, and during its initial release, Robin Hood earned a $9.6 million in rentals in the United States and Canada, and it grossed $18 million in foreign territories, which was at the time a Disney record for a worldwide rental of $27.5 million. And this was on a budget of $5 million. So it seemed like it was a seemed like it was worth it a little, but there were the Disney animation loyalists who were inspired after Jungle Book, who were inspired by what they saw on Disney TV, that decided that there would be would be part of the animation training program that feel like they can do this for a career. And
Can you
and,
name 3 people that would have enrolled at the time?
I already told you one, John Pomeroy, but there were also 2 others. Ron Husband, who I managed to talk with about Song of the South later on, and after our little meeting where we tried the Song of the South thing, but didn't really go so well because Ron Husband didn't show
Yeah,
up.
we get it.
I had a meeting with him, and I got it in the YouTube video, and and Glenn Keane, he was also an animation trainee at this stage. He was only like 19 years old. So this may have been like his first experience working in any sort of animated feature at the time, even though he wasn't like part of the official crew. So what was the critical reaction to Robin Hood? Judith,
Yeah, just give
Chris.
us 3 excerpts, okay?
All right. So Judith Christ, who reviewed the film in a New York magazine, said it was nicely tongue-in-cheek without insult to the intelligence of either child or adult, and has class in the fine cast that it gives both voice and personality to the characters, in the bright and brisk dialogue and its overall concept. And Vincent Canby of the New York Times wrote that it should be a good deal of fun for toddlers whose minds have not yet shriveled into orthodoxy, and he called the visual style charmingly conventional. And Dave Billington of the Montreal Gazette wrote, as a film, Robin Hood marks a comeback of sorts for the Disney people. Ever since the old maestro died, the cartoon features have been showing distressing signs of a drop in quality, both in artwork and in voice characterizations. But the blending of appealing cartoon animals with perfect voices for the part makes Robin Hood an excellent even out for the whole family. So there's my 3. I mean, this legacy is that one person would consider this his favorite Disney film as a kid, and would actually later produce another animated film that had animals in the lead role. And it also was served as a forerunner for the furry fandom. Now, what is the furry fandom? Well, let me just oh, you got 101 Dalmatians, Gypsy, and your little sock puppet there. No.
I believe the
All right,
term
this is
is
the furry fandom.
fortune telling.
All right, this is a furry fandom. Can you see the pictures? People just are so fascinated with this stuff. They dress up in these things called fursuits. I even saw these on Auburn campus one time when I went to a game with my family. there were furries on our
Olive Auburn is not
campus.
like that.
Auburn ain't like this.
Olive Auburn, no. People in suits like that scare me.
Oh, so these people kind of scare you.
No, dude.
Well,
Yeah.
And maybe now's a good time to back away from the pictures.
There's
I
one.
just don't really like when I can't see their faces.
Well, this is one character that was called a furry in the show. Her name is Luna. She's a hellhound, and she's part of an indie cartoon series from Vivzy Pop called Hell of a Boss, and it's really not like a
Sounds
kid's
adulterated.
show. Yes, it is adult. So let's stop sharing.
Well,
I think what Jordan's trying to say is that I think I've heard about this group, but it actually involves like, ultra shy people that would like meet each other, dressed up in like, anthropomorphic, little characters of their own design.
I guess it gives some people confidence. I don't know. I just know that I loved Robin Hood as a kid, and my brother, it was one of his very, very favorite movies. So we ended up watching it a lot, and we actually watched it pretty recently together. My brother and I. It's just such a classic. The songs are so good. Everything about it.
Oh man, I totally love this as well. I did actually watch this as a kid. And other times I remember that I enjoyed how Robin Hood was able to pull some of this sly, sleek, foxy stuff. And even Julia, my sister-in-law, she says there's a lot of girls who happen to be rather attracted to Robin Hood as a fox.
Oh, Zach, for first dating, he would pretend to kiss all of my diamonds off and get all of the gems in his teeth, and he 3D printed rings that had detachable gems so he could actually pop the gems off of the rings.
Oh, that is awesome. I mean, oh man, your husband or something actually did that?
He did.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow, he's wow, I never really 3D printed before, but
he's an engineer, so it was he had a machine at his job that he could do it.
I'm a developer by trade.
Yeah.
I mean, I even my most recent job was a WordPress website for a client.
I'll wait. Yeah.
So
but hey guys, Zach just finished up our dinner, so I have to drop off. I'm so sorry. He just finished cooking it.
Yeah,
but
and
chatting, that's okay.
Yeah, and just to let you know, the film suddenly kind of regained my attention after this YouTube poop called Friars Rubbing Wood, The Fall of Nottingham came out, and this thing is like 38 minutes long.
Oh my goodness.
And it's not really a kids thing either, so it's just, it actually combines the elements of what you see in Robin Hood 1973. This film and the 1938 The Adventures of Robin Hood, starring Errol Flynn.
Interesting. I'll have to look it up sometime.
Yeah, that's like a really old movie, like with Errol Flynn and stuff. If anyone can actually remember that far, but
nice.
Well,
it was awesome to see you guys, but keep chatting, and I'll talk to you guys next week.
So next week, Disney makes another Mouse Tale, and now the animators who were in the animation training program have now stepped up into animator roles.
Wow.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be a good one.
Okay.
Okay, I'll talk to you guys then.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Yeah, so anyway, yeah, I do, me and my sisters have grown up while watching the Robin Hood, the VHSs, and Yeah, I think that was always, fun to do around and, seeing all the, you know, through animals in like the medieval times. I mean, once again, they pulled off an appealing snake, and the original carried the role of Sir Hiss.
Yeah, even voiced by Terry Thomas. Even they recycled some of Ka's animation in this one.
Well, yeah, I mean, they did some new ones too. Like, they did like this lovable exaggerate of him, putting the shrugged
Yeah,
shoulders on the basket.
okay. At least at least in some cases they still make new animation, even if they have to recycle old animation.
Mhm.
If you're just doing like a copy and paste of like of your class's dance sequences. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, looking back on it from watching recently, I mean, I guess when none of us ever know how gritty the tale is. I mean, especially with the constant threat of the capital punishment to a vigilante.
I know it's kind of rather, I know it's rather dark. I mean, I think we had like Robin Hood's originally being like one of the king's aides, and then suddenly something happens with between him and Prince John, and Robin Hood suddenly just betrays Prince John, and he doesn't like what Prince John is doing, and now the people in the
I mean, it does sound like an exposition of like a typical Robin Hood tale, and yeah, yeah.
it's
We
like
were we also been like we also heard like a podcast about like the search for the real Robin Hood, and there was actually a time where the English king like owned not just like the land per se, but also like the woods, and anyone that was living in the woods and nowhere near a town would be breaking the king's law. So that's where you get like those outlaw lures of Sherwood Forest.
oh yeah, so I mean, Robin Hood might be bogus, but you kind of like how I said that King Arthur may have, the whole idea of King Arthur may be bogus, or the sorcerer witches thing or something like that. But then it's still part of that little fairy tale aspect that Disney was trying to craft into into the into the production, and see what they could do with Robin Hood. Even if you can, even if any tale they have ever, probably through a whole marathon of these, you could probably tell they take the original tale, they take out a lot of the darker aspects of the tale, and then they kind of make it suitable for family viewing. It's a big tradition.
It's called adaptation.
Of course, it's adaptation, and it's kind of become a big tradition. You see a marathon of this stuff, you'll probably
Yeah, man.
yeah, we'll
I
probably
even
get
heard
a
there's like a
drinking
list
game or
about the many
something.
Disney stories that come from public domain.
Maybe I don't know if anyone's gonna make a drinking game out of these. If you see them watch a marathon of the Disney movies, you suddenly drink every time something happens in one of these movies. Like there's
I'm not sure that's how binge watching works.
yeah, not a drinking game doesn't. Oh, binge watch. Oh yeah, well, I've tried it once on a series called Green Eggs and Ham on Netflix, season 1. I kind of had kind of had a bit of a rough experience trying to drive over to my brother's apartment one time, because turns out I was recovered from the cusp of being in a car wreck that previous month, and it was no fun.
Okay, now we're gonna reach the point of oversharing. So anyway, I gotta go. I got dinner to finish.
Okay, we talk to you
See you
later.
soon.
Bye.